Hey everybody, Miss Lottie Doll here, and today I am going to talk about Jcpenney Beauty. Yes, it's a thing. And apparently it's been rolling out slowly as of 2020. So let's dive into what this is all about, and then I have my own personal story to share after this about JCPenney and Sephora. So let's start. So JCPenney plans to replace its Sephora shops with a focus on inclusivity, including across price points. The Sephora partnership, launched in 2006, was seen as one of Penny's few winners in recent years. Let's face it, it's true. It dissolved during last year's Penny bankruptcy and is scheduled to end this year. The department store retailer will open 10 pilot JCPenney Beauty shops inside stores in mid-October and debut the revamped mix on jcp.com. That was as of the beginning of fall of 2022, so it is current today. Penny rolled out the shops to the rest of the 650 chains. However, I gotta say, it's not shopped very well, to be quite honest. Every time I go into my Penny store, I never see anybody walking through that area at all. I mean, it's right where Sephora was, which was right in the middle of the store, and everybody just walks around it. It's sad. The inclusivity push also includes an in-store shop from 13 Loon, an online destination for Black and Brown-owned beauty brands. Of the more than 170 brands in the initial mix, 39 are minority-owned. So sorry, I cannot talk today. It's really hyper-inclusive. Michelle Waslow, EVP and Chief Merchandising Officer, quoted, "We are very proud to say we are building a beauty business that fills our customers' needs regardless of age, gender, race, skin tone, hair type, even beauty regimen or budget. It's really a strategy welcoming all customers, men, women, older, younger," unquote. Other brands include the JCPenney Beauty brand, which is its own brand. But it will also feature a number of exclusives, including the brand called Mirabella, and several other BIPOC-founded brands. Penny will triple the range of hair care products to complement its long-standing strong salon business. Beauty purchases will count towards the department store's rewards program, whereas past purchases only supported Sephora's. If you shopped in Sephora and Penny's, those points went to Sephora's, not Penny's. JCPenney Beauty will face heightened competition, with Kohl's adding Sephora and Target adding Ulta. All right, so let's talk about this. So I'm sorry, this will never take off. Like I said, people are avoiding it. Nobody wants JCPenney brand makeup. And even they may have some other brands in the store, but the people that are shopping those brands are already familiar with those brands. They're going to buy it wherever else they buy it from. They're not going to say, "Oh, I need to go to Penny's because I need to run into the beauty shop. I need to run in there and get that makeup." No, that's not going to happen. Whereas when Sephora was in there, it was, "Oh, Penny's. Oh, I need to run into Sephora real quick." Penny's is dead. They've been dead for a long time. But I have a personal story with Penny's. So I worked for Penny's back in the early 2000s when it had sort of a rebirth, if you will. And it was having a second heyday of its time. We were constantly busy. Sephora had just came in. And I remember I had to help clear the floor where Sephora was going to be. We had to figure out where all the merchandise was going to go that was in that area. And so I remember it was going to be in part of my department. So I had to go down there and we had to move all of these, all of the racks around and everything, clear that space, and we had to clear off an entire area so the construction crews could come in, and they had it all like blocked off, like with black bags. Like we couldn't even see anything in there. We were forbidden to go into the Sephora tent, as we called it. because that's what it looked like. We had no idea what Sephora was in 2006. We had no idea what that was. We just knew that they were gonna be selling cosmetics. That's all we knew. That's all we were told. Oh, they're just gonna be selling cosmetics. Okay, so it comes time for the big reveal. And I remember we had a huge party and they cut a red ribbon, the store manager, the manager of Sephora, and there was these bigwigs from Sephora there, and they cut the ribbon and they put down the tents, and we were like, oh, I mean, we were just dumbfounded. It was beautiful. It was this big, bold, club-like atmosphere type of shop selling makeup and skincare and perfume. And for those of us that were into that kind of thing, we were just like, oh, wow. Like, we were just completely shocked and dumbfounded, and we fell in love with it. They gave us free product. They gave us free makeovers. It was a big deal, a huge deal. But there was also a Sephora that was already inside the mall, but it came later. It came maybe a year or two later after Sephora was already established in Penny's. And I feel like even though they tried to ignore it, like, oh, it's not going to hurt our business, I feel like, yes, it did. Because the people that went into Penny's to shop at Sephora, that, they were going to Sephora. Now Sephora has its own store. They don't need to come into Penny's. But let me rewind, because in 2006, Penny's was still booming. There was no threat of bankruptcy. They were not hurting. They were not closing stores back then. They were doing really good. And I was in management at that time. And Penny's was doing phenomenal, at least my store anyway. We were doing great. Numbers were up. The merchandise was fresh for the time. It was new. It was good. You didn't think of Penny's at that time as grandma's store. Like, I shopped there with my grandma. And to be honest, in my interview, I literally said that because I literally did. Jcpenney was where my grandma went to shop, along with Sears and Kmart and Ellis Ayres. But Penny's had changed. It had turned a corner, and it was no longer that store. They had to match Sephora, and I feel like they did it phenomenally. And then comes the new CEO, and he said, no, we're going to change the price points. We're going to up them, and they're all going to end in 0. And we're going to eliminate coupons. And they did. And now they went bankruptcy. Seriously. It really hurt them. And I feel like they never rebounded from that. I get that their contract with Sephora is up. And Sephora probably saw that Penny's is a sinking ship. Let's face it. It's barely afloat. And I get why they're like, no, we're not going back to Penny's. However, Kohl's is one of Penny's biggest competitors. So for them to go into Kohl's is a huge slap in the face to Jcpenney. But let's face it, Kohl's is not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay? It's just not. Kohl's and Target are going to rule the world. Let's just face it. So I feel like this was Penny's last hope to bring in people, to try to bring in the younger crowds. But I feel like it's just not going to work. It's not enough. And I just feel like Penny's doesn't have the money to do the kind of revamping that it needs to take out Kohl's and Target. There's just no way. I think it's just time for them to close their doors gracefully, go out gracefully and quietly, because I think their time is done, to be quite honest. Now, I understand, that they're trying to target the mom market, women coming in to do their clothes shopping. They're going to pop into the, makeups. They're going to be curious. Oh, what kind of makeup is this? Da, 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 da. That would have been okay pre-COVID. But with COVID, people, I feel, are more conscious about where their money is going, and they're not willing to really take risks anymore with their money. When you've worn a certain makeup and you're familiar with it, the cost, you like it, I feel like people right now, they're going to stick to that. They're not really going to want to try anything new right now, especially a store brand, Jcpenney Beauty. I can't do it. I would not do it. No, and I will not do it. I just can't. I feel like it's just weird. Like, I feel like there's something more to the story. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it that's not quite public. I just get that feeling that there's something to it. And maybe I'll do some digging and see if I can find out any more information. I just think it's weird that in a time when a lot of cosmetic companies are going under and filing bankruptcy, Revlon filed bankruptcy. They're pulled it out, but they filed for bankruptcy. CoverGirl filed for bankruptcy. Jcpenney wants to start its own line. I find that very weird. So I don't know. Like I said, it could be nothing more but just a last-ditch effort to save what little sales that they have. I know when I go into my Jcpenney, it's pretty dead. The merchandise is not all that great. They've gone back to, in my opinion, back to that's grandma's store. You know, I'm not gonna ask, you know, hey, where did you get that? Oh, Jcpenney. Oh, that's bad. That is so cool. I'm gonna go to Penny's and I'm gonna get that. That's not happening right now. And I doubt that it's going to be quite honest, in the near future. So there's that. All right, so that's going to do it for this video about Jcpenney Beauty. Let us know down in the comments section if you work for Penny's. I'm curious, have you tried the cosmetics? And more details. Give some more details about this whole Penny's Beauty kind of business. I want details. Like I said, when I go into my Penny's, you know, I'm planning to go to my mall this coming Monday. Okay, so I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna film the beauty part, and I'm gonna show you how dead and sad it looks. I'm not gonna buy anything, of course, but just to show you what it looks like. I'm just gonna film it so you guys get the idea, because I feel like not that many people shop at Penny's. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about, so I will film that for you on Monday. So, or if you don't have to work there, but if you've shopped the Jcpenney Beauty brand, let us know down in the comments section below what your thoughts and opinions are. I could be way off base here. Maybe it is great. Maybe it's like Elf or NYX, which is what I'm kind of thinking is what they were trying to do. Maybe it's like that. I don't know. We'll find out. Let us know down in the comments section below. All right, now I really am seriously going to end this video right now. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned because tomorrow I will have another video for you. And this one's pretty interesting. So yeah, it might give you some ideas on how to spend your money each month. We'll see. All right, thank you so much for watching. This is Miss Slutty Doll saying ta-ta.